Nobody cares. Read that again. Nobody truly cares about your problems, your struggles, or your excuses. People are too busy dealing with their own issues, their own insecurities, and their own battles. Yet, despite this reality, so many of us waste our time worrying about how others perceive us. We seek validation from people who barely notice, crave approval from those who don't matter, and hesitate to take action because we fear judgment. But here's the truth. You are the only person truly responsible for your life. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody will live your life for you. And if you spend your days waiting for approval, avoiding discomfort, or molding yourself to fit into someone else's expectations, you will end up living a life that isn't even yours. Now, ask yourself, have you ever held back from doing something you truly wanted because you were afraid of what people might think? Have you ever silenced your ambitions, dreams, or opinions just to avoid criticism? If so, you are not alone. But this is exactly the kind of self-imposed prison that Stoicism teaches us to break free from. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the foundation of Stoicism. Stop obsessing over things beyond your control and start focusing on what truly matters: your own actions, your own mindset, your own life. Today, we are going to challenge the way you see yourself and the world around you. We will explore how to let go of external validation, stop chasing approval, and build a mindset so unshakable that no opinion, no rejection, no criticism can affect your inner peace. Because once you stop caring about what others think, you unlock the power to live life on your own terms. Are you ready to break free? If so, drop a comment below. I choose to focus on my life. Now, let's dive in. 1. The core truth. People are too busy to care. Have you ever spent hours overanalyzing a conversation, replaying every word, wondering if you sounded foolish or if the other person judged you? Maybe you hesitated to post something online, fearing what people might say, or perhaps you avoided taking a bold step, starting a business, changing careers, speaking up, because you were afraid of what others would think. It's time for a reality check. People don't think about you nearly as much as you imagine. You post a picture online, waiting for likes, refreshing the page to see who noticed. The reality: most people scroll past without a second thought, too absorbed in their own lives. You overthink an awkward interaction from last week, worrying about how you came across, but the truth is, the other person has likely already forgotten about it. You stress over a minor mistake at work, convinced that your colleagues are judging you, when in reality they are preoccupied with their own challenges. There is a psychological phenomenon called the spotlight effect, a cognitive bias that makes us believe we are being watched and judged far more than we actually are. We imagine that every misstep, every awkward moment, every decision is under intense scrutiny. But the truth is, most people are too focused on their own struggles, insecurities, and ambitions to care. Think about it. When was the last time you remembered what someone else wore a week ago? When was the last time you deeply analyzed another person's social media post? We are all the main characters in our own stories, but merely background extras in everyone else's. Most people are too busy dealing with their own problems. They are stressed about their jobs, worried about their relationships, anxious about their futures. They do not have the mental bandwidth to obsess over your actions. The few who do judge you will forget soon enough. Even if someone criticizes or gossips about you, it is fleeting. By next week, next month, or next year, they will have moved on to something else. Why waste your energy stressing over something so temporary? Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." So much of our anxiety stems from the imaginary judgments we create in our minds. We convince ourselves that people are watching, judging, and keeping score, but in reality, they are too wrapped up in their own lives to care. The mind magnifies trivial moments, creating unnecessary suffering. We let these illusions dictate our choices, keeping us trapped in hesitation, fear, and self-doubt. Consider this scenario. You're at a cafe, and as you get up, you accidentally knock over your coffee. The cup clatters to the floor, spilling everywhere. Immediately, your face heats up, embarrassment flooding through you. You scramble to clean it up, convinced that everyone is staring, judging. But take a moment and step outside of yourself. Are people really watching? Maybe a few glanced up momentarily, but then they return to their own conversations, their own distractions. By the time you leave, they won't even remember it happened. Now, magnify this scenario across your entire life. How many things have you avoided because of fear of judgment? How many experiences have you held back from because you imagined people watching and critiquing you? The truth is, people don't care as much as you think, and even if they do, their attention is temporary at best. When you live your life seeking approval or avoiding disapproval, you are not living for yourself. You are living for others. You delay your dreams because of opinions that don't matter. You mold yourself to fit expectations that are constantly shifting. You lose time, energy, and peace of mind over thoughts that aren't even real. Imagine how many opportunities you have let slip away because you worried about the opinions of people who probably don't even remember your name. How many experiences have you avoided? Passions have you suppressed? Or ideas have you left unexplored just because you feared the judgment of those who don't contribute to your happiness or success? To truly free yourself from the weight of external opinions, you need to shift your mindset and take action. The first step is recognizing the spotlight effect. Whenever you feel self-conscious, remind yourself that nobody is paying as much attention as you think. Most people are too distracted to analyze or remember your every move. The next step is to ask yourself, will this matter in a year? If the embarrassment, mistake, or judgment won't have long-term consequences, why waste mental energy on it? Most things that seem overwhelming today will be completely irrelevant in the future. Another powerful Stoic principle to embrace is the dichotomy of control taught by Epictetus. He emphasized that some things are within our control and some things are not. Other people's thoughts, opinions, and reactions outside of your control, your own actions, mindset, and self-worth, entirely within your control. Once you fully internalize this, life becomes much lighter. It is also crucial to reframe judgment as irrelevant noise. If someone criticizes or judges you, what does it actually change about your life? Does their opinion affect your abilities, your dreams, or your future? The answer is no. If their judgment does not improve your life, it is not worth your concern. Instead of over-analyzing what others think, channel that energy into something productive. Read, learn, exercise, build a skill, do something that benefits you. When you focus on your own growth, you naturally become less concerned with external validation. A practical Stoic exercise is the practice of nightly reflection. Each evening, take a moment to reflect on the things you avoided because of fear of judgment. Write them down. Challenge yourself by asking, was this fear real, or was it just in my mind? Over time, you will begin to see how often you create unnecessary barriers in your own life. Reflection helps solidify your internal value system, reinforcing that your worth is not dictated by external validation, but by your ability to live virtuously. Now, imagine living without fear of judgment. What would your life look like if you stopped caring about opinions that don't matter? Would you pursue a passion you have been suppressing? Would you speak your mind freely without overthinking every word? Would you finally take action on something you have been hesitating on? The moment you accept that most people don't care, you free yourself to live on your own terms. There is a profound liberation in realizing that you are not the center of everyone's universe. Your mistakes, your awkward moments, your perceived failures, none of them are as significant as your mind makes them out to be. People forget, life moves on, and so should you. When you internalize this truth, you stop seeking validation, and in doing so, you become more powerful. You become someone who acts based on conviction rather than fear, who pursues what is meaningful rather than what is popular, and who stands firm in their beliefs rather than bending to the fleeting opinions of others. Now ask yourself, what's one thing you haven't done yet because you were afraid of what others might think? Think about it, then go do it. And if you are ready to stop letting opinions control your life, declare it, say it out loud, write it down, make it real, because the only validation you truly need is your own. Your life is yours. Own it. 2. The Stoic mindset shift. Focus on what you control. Most people live their lives reacting to the world around them. They let their emotions rise and fall based on how others treat them. They chase approval, explain themselves to those who don't deserve an explanation, and wait for permission to live on their own terms. But here's the truth. The key to freedom is realizing that the only thing you truly control is yourself. Your thoughts, your actions, your mindset. That's where your power lies. Control what you can, ignore what you can't. This is the foundational principle of Stoicism, the philosophy that has guided great minds for centuries. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca and Epictetus all taught that peace comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling how we respond to it. The world will always be unpredictable. People will always have opinions. Circumstances will change. But if you learn to master your own mind, nothing can shake you. Think of yourself as a solid stone fortress, unmoved by the storm outside. No insults, no judgments, no shifting external events can shake its foundation. It stands strong, resilient, and untouched by the chaos beyond its walls. This is how your mindset should be: independent, strong, and self-sufficient. But how do you build this kind of mental strength? It starts with 3 essential shifts. Stop chasing validation, stop explaining yourself, and stop waiting for permission to live. Most people spend their lives trying to prove something to others. They seek approval from family, friends, colleagues, even strangers on the internet. They shape their actions around what they think will earn them the most praise. But here's the paradox. The more you chase validation, the less you receive. The people who are most respected aren't those who beg for recognition. They are the ones who move through life with quiet certainty, indifferent to whether others approve or not. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This means letting go of the need to be understood, praised, or accepted. If you constantly adjust yourself to fit other people's expectations, you will never know who you truly are. True confidence is not built on approval, it is built on self-assurance. Imagine 2 people walking into a room. One is scanning the crowd, trying to gauge how people perceive them, adjusting their posture, their words, and their energy based on external cues. The other walks in with quiet certainty, not looking for validation, but simply being. Which one do you respect more? Which one exudes more presence? The person who doesn't need approval is always the one who commands the most respect. The moment you stop chasing validation, you reclaim control over your life. No more posting on social media just to see how many likes you get. No more seeking approval from people whose opinions don't actually matter. No more needing reassurance before making a decision. You decide, you act, you move forward. Another way people give away their power is by over-explaining their choices. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. You don't need to justify your goals, your ambitions, or your values. When you explain yourself to people who don't understand or respect you, you are seeking their permission, and in doing so, you are reinforcing their power over you. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." If someone truly understands and respects you, they don't need a justification for why you do what you do. And if they don't respect you, then no explanation will ever be enough. Think about how much energy you waste defending your dreams to people who don't share your vision. Imagine you decide to take a risk, maybe quitting a job you hate to start your own business, or breaking away from toxic relationships to focus on your personal growth. Some people will question you, they will doubt you, they will tell you that you are making a mistake. If you spend time explaining yourself to them, trying to convince them, you are missing the point. Live in a way that makes explanations unnecessary. Let your results speak for themselves. The most powerful individuals in history didn't spend time justifying their actions, they simply acted. They followed their vision, focused on their goals, and let success be their proof. The hardest truth to accept is this: no one is coming to save you. No one will give you permission to live the life you want. If you wait for validation, approval, or the perfect moment, you will wait forever. The time to act is now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not a call to be reckless, but a reminder that your time is finite. Every day you spend hesitating, overthinking, and waiting for the right conditions is a day wasted. Think of all the dreams people take to their graves simply because they were too afraid of judgment, too uncertain of themselves, or too conditioned to wait for permission. Are you willing to be one of them, or will you break free and take control of your own path? Imagine a fortress built high on a mountain. It does not concern itself with the opinions of those outside its walls. It does not change its structure to please passing travelers. It simply is, solid, strong, and unwavering. This is the mindset of a true Stoic. You must become self-sufficient in your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. When you master your own mind, the world loses its grip on you. The key to achieving this is radical self-reliance. This does not mean isolating yourself or rejecting all feedback. It means recognizing that your core value does not come from external sources. It comes from your own virtues, your own choices, and your own integrity. When you embody this, you become immune to both flattery and criticism. Ask yourself, what is one way you can start focusing more on yourself today? Maybe it's making a decision without consulting 10 different opinions. Maybe it's taking action on something you've been hesitating on. Maybe it's simply allowing yourself to exist without seeking validation. The moment you stop trying to please everyone, you become unstoppable. The moment you let go of the fear of judgment, you gain true freedom. The moment you shift your focus from external validation to internal mastery, you take control of your life. This is the Stoic way. This is how you build an unshakable mind, and once you embrace it, nothing will ever hold you back again. 3. The power of silence. Stop reacting, start living. Imagine this. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, when someone shouts an insult at you. In that split second, you have a choice. You can turn around, engage, defend yourself, argue, wasting energy on someone who thrives on getting a reaction, or you can smile, walk away, and keep moving forward. Which one sounds like the action of a powerful person? Which one leaves you feeling lighter, stronger, and in control? The world is full of noise, opinions, arguments, criticisms, distractions. But the strongest individuals, the ones who command respect and move with unshakable confidence, share one thing in common: they do not react to nonsense. They don't allow external negativity to dictate their inner peace. Instead of wasting energy on things beyond their control, they channel it into their own growth. This is the power of silence. Epictetus said it best: if someone is able to make you lose your temper, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. This means that no one can force you to react unless you allow them to. No comment, no insult, no passive-aggressive remark has power over you unless you give it power. But here's the challenge. Most people react instinctively. They hear something negative, and before they even think, they respond. They get sucked into arguments, defend themselves to people who don't matter, and waste hours justifying their choices. But what if you didn't? What if, for once, you didn't react at all? Let's take a step back and look at this through a different lens. Picture a massive tree in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain beats down, and yet the tree stands firm. It does not sway in fear. It does not react to the chaos around it. It simply is, strong, stable, and unwavering. That's how you must be. The insults, the criticisms, the negativity, they are the wind and the rain. You are the tree. Think about how much time and energy people waste arguing online, defending themselves to people who will never change their minds, responding to negativity that does nothing but drain them. They think they are winning battles, but in reality, they are losing control. The real victory lies in not engaging. Because here's the truth: people who try to provoke you want a reaction. They feed on your anger, your frustration, your need to explain yourself. When you remain silent, you starve them of that power. Consider this scenario. You post something online, something you deeply believe in. Then the negativity rolls in. Someone mocks it, someone challenges it, someone disrespects it. Most people would respond, defend, explain, argue. But what if instead you let your words stand for themselves? What if you gave no reaction at all? Watch what happens. The negativity fizzles out. The people who seek attention get bored and move on. And you remain untouchable, focused, powerful. In ancient Rome, the Stoics were often criticized for their views. They were mocked for their belief in emotional control, for their rejection of external validation. Did they argue? No. Did they fight back? No. They simply lived by their principles, and history remembers them not as reactive individuals, but as some of the most powerful minds ever to exist. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, yet he spent no time justifying himself to those who misunderstood him. He focused on his mission, on his duty, on his values. That is what real strength looks like. Silence is not weakness. It is mastery. It is knowing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on people who don't deserve it. It is the ability to walk away from meaningless battles and focus entirely on what moves you forward. The more you embrace silence, the more you realize its power. But let's take this one step further. Imagine how different your life would be if you practiced this daily. Think about all the situations that would no longer have control over you. Someone criticizes you. You nod and move on. A coworker tries to start drama. You stay focused and let them exhaust themselves. A stranger disrespects you. You don't even flinch. An online troll provokes you. You give them nothing. Now let's take a look at a real-life example. Think about someone who always reacts impulsively. Maybe it's a friend, a family member, or even yourself. They get defensive over minor things. They argue over opinions. They let the smallest criticism ruin their day. Now compare them to someone who is calm, composed, and unbothered. Who seems stronger? Who seems more in control? Who would you rather be? Imagine you're in a heated debate with someone who refuses to listen. You feel the frustration building up inside you. Your instinct tells you to argue, to prove your point, to make them understand. But instead, you pause. You take a deep breath, and you say nothing. You walk away. You move on. Now, who really won that argument? You did. Because you didn't waste your energy. You didn't let someone else dictate your emotions. You remained in control. This is how the most powerful individuals in history operated. They did not react. They acted. They moved with purpose, not with impulse. They chose their battles wisely and refused to engage in anything that did not serve their higher purpose. This is your challenge. For the next 24 hours, ignore every negative comment, opinion, or distraction. Don't react, don't defend, don't explain. Just focus on your own goals, your own mission, your own growth. See what happens. See how much lighter you feel, how much more control you gain. See how silence elevates you above the noise. Now, ask yourself, when was the last time you wasted energy arguing with someone who didn't deserve your time? When was the last time you reacted to something meaningless and let it steal your peace? Isn't it time to take your power back? The world will keep throwing distractions at you. Your job is to rise above them, because at the end of the day, it's not the loudest people who hold power. It's the ones who don't need to speak at all. By mastering the art of silence, you achieve something extraordinary. You shift the power dynamic entirely. You remove yourself from the chaos, from the constant cycle of reaction and counter-reaction, from the need to prove anything to anyone. And in doing so, you step into the highest version of yourself. Look around at the people who are truly influential, who carry an aura of confidence and strength. They don't argue. They don't explain themselves to those who won't understand. They move forward. They act. They lead. This is your moment, your chance to embody the principles of the greatest Stoics. Starting today, choose silence over reaction. Choose focus over distraction. Choose control over chaos. Let go of the need to engage in battles that don't serve you. Refuse to let anyone dictate your emotions. Walk away from nonsense, from pettiness, from things that don't matter. And as you do, you will notice something incredible. The world begins to respect you in ways it never did before. When you no longer react, you become a mystery. When you no longer seek validation, you become powerful. When you move through life with quiet confidence, the world takes notice. Now, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what is the one thing you will no longer react to? What is the one battle you will walk away from? What is the one area of your life where you will reclaim your power? Start today. Stop reacting. Start living. Fourth, stop seeking approval and start building yourself. There's a powerful difference between those who seek approval and those who simply build themselves into something undeniable. The former chase validation, always looking outward for signs that they are good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough. The latter understand that true confidence is built in silence, through action, through effort, through self-mastery. The world respects those who do the work without asking for applause. And the moment you stop needing approval, you start becoming someone worth noticing. Imagine a Rolex watch sitting on display. It doesn't flash neon lights. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't try to prove its worth. And yet, those who understand its value seek it out. The Rolex does not advertise itself. Its quality speaks for itself. Now think about yourself. Are you trying to prove your worth, constantly explaining yourself, seeking validation? Or are you quietly building something of undeniable value? You should be the Rolex, something so valuable that those who understand will recognize it, and those who don't never mattered in the first place. One of the biggest traps in life is living for approval. It's the constant checking of likes, the validation-seeking conversations, the need to be acknowledged for your work. But let's step back for a moment. Ask yourself this: are the people whose approval you seek really the kind of people you admire? Are they truly qualified to determine your worth? Most likely, they are just as lost as everyone else, wrapped up in their own insecurities, their own distractions, their own never-ending quest for external validation. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This single line encapsulates everything you need to know. Stop debating, stop justifying, stop looking for approval. Instead, just be. Building, improve, become. So how do you stop seeking approval and start building yourself? It begins with shifting your focus inward. Instead of waiting for the world to give you permission, you create the life you want. You replace external validation with self-discipline. You make the conscious decision to put your energy into things that actually move your life forward, rather than wasting time trying to impress people who will forget about you in a matter of hours. The first and most important step is to spend less time online and more time in real life. Social media, while a useful tool, is also a massive trap for approval-seeking behavior. Every post, every comment, every reaction is an attempt to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be validated. But what if you just stepped away? What if you invested that time into something that genuinely improved you? Instead of scrolling, read. Instead of seeking attention, learn. Instead of arguing, train. If you want respect, build something that commands it. Master a skill, develop a craft, train your body, sharpen your mind. The time you spend worrying about other people's opinions could be used to make yourself unstoppable. Think about it this way. If you disappear from social media for 6 months and return as a stronger, wiser, more capable version of yourself, the world will take notice. Not because you begged for approval, but because the results speak for themselves. The best revenge against doubt, against criticism, against being overlooked, is success. Not loud, attention-seeking success, but quiet, undeniable mastery. There is a reason the most respected people in history were not those who sought validation. They were those who built themselves into something so valuable that the world had no choice but to recognize them. Look at the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. They were not concerned with applause. They were concerned with virtue, wisdom, discipline. They focused on what they could control, and through that, they built legacies that lasted for centuries. Now, let's take this from theory to action. What can you do today to start this transformation? The first step is to take back control of your time. If you are spending hours every week caught in cycles of seeking validation, whether through social media, meaningless conversations, or trying to impress people, start cutting that out. Replace it with something meaningful. Learn a skill that makes you more independent. Train your body so that you feel strong and capable. Read books that sharpen your mind. If you don't know where to start, ask yourself this: what is one thing I can start improving today, not for others, but for myself? The second step is to develop a routine of self-discipline. The people who are admired the most are not the ones who seek approval, but the ones who hold themselves to a standard. This means setting daily goals, following through, and proving to yourself, not to the world, that you are capable. If you decide to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a run, do it. Not so you can tell people about it, not so you can post about it, but so you know that you are in control of your own life. The third step is to practice silence. The less you explain yourself, the more powerful you become. When you achieve something, let your results speak for themselves. When people doubt you, let time prove them wrong. You don't need to announce every move you make. Build in silence. Grow in silence. Let your work do the talking. And finally, commit to long-term self-improvement. The reason many people struggle to break free from seeking approval is that they want instant results. They want to be validated now, to be admired now. But true growth takes time. The Stoics believed in delayed gratification, in putting in the work today for a stronger, wiser future. This means embracing discomfort, discipline, and patience. Imagine where you could be a year from now if you stopped wasting time on meaningless approval seeking and instead focused entirely on growth. Imagine waking up in 6 months and realizing you no longer care what people think because you have built yourself into someone you respect. Imagine being so busy improving that you don't even notice whether people are watching. That is real power. That is freedom. So, here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, commit to focusing entirely on building yourself. No seeking validation, no explaining yourself, no asking for approval. Just work, read, train, learn, create, building. At the end of those 7 days, ask yourself, do I feel more powerful, more in control, more free? Because here's the truth, you don't need permission to be great. You don't need anyone's approval to pursue the life you want. The only person who needs to recognize your value is you. And once you do, the world will follow. Now take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can start improving today, not for others, but for myself? Write it down, commit to it, and then get to work. Because when you stop proving yourself and start improving yourself, everything changes. Take back your power. The world moves on, whether you succeed or fail. Nobody truly cares about your struggles the way you think they do, and that's not a bad thing. It's freedom. The moment you stop seeking approval, the moment you let go of the need to be understood or validated, you take back control of your life. You stop being a puppet of public opinion and start becoming the architect of your own destiny. This is what Stoicism teaches us, that our true power comes not from the external world, but from within. Everything you need to succeed is already inside you. Your ability to endure, to improve, to remain unmoved by the noise of the world, it's all within your grasp. The greatest minds in history, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca to Epictetus, all understood this fundamental truth. External events don't dictate your happiness. Your response to them does. When you fully embrace this, you become untouchable. No criticism can shake you. No failure can break you. No opinion can define you. You become free. So, I leave you with this challenge. Are you ready to focus on your own life and stop caring about external validation? If you are, declare it now. Comment below. I focus on my own path. Let this be the moment you commit to self-mastery, to internal strength, to living on your own terms. And if you found this message valuable, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the Stoic wisdom that will help you master your mind and your life. Remember this, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Now take back your power and start living.